Have you ever thought about how you would respond if your world turned upside down overnight? Today we're discussing the concept of Stoic resilience. It's a philosophy that can provide us with a framework to navigate through times of crisis. Picture a little dark age, a personal epoch of struggle or hardship. How would you cope? How would you rise above it? The Stoics had a unique perspective on this. Let's explore it. Consider the story of Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. Born in Cyprus around the 4th century BC, Zeno was a prosperous merchant, living a life of relative comfort and ease. His world, however, was turned upside down when he lost everything in a shipwreck. He found himself in Athens, penniless and lost, in what could easily be described as his own personal little dark age. But instead of succumbing to despair, he turned to philosophy. Zeno stumbled upon a bookstore where he discovered the works of Socrates. He was so moved by Socrates' wisdom that he decided to dedicate the rest of his life to philosophy. He studied under the famous philosophers of the time, such as Crates the Cynic, and eventually developed his own school of thought, which we now know as Stoicism. You see, Zeno's little dark age, as devastating as it was, served as a stepping stone to wisdom and resilience. He could have let his circumstances define him, but instead he chose to rise above them. He embraced his hardships and used them as fuel for his philosophical journey. He believed that life is like a battleground, and we are its warriors, constantly battling against the odds. It's how we respond to these battles that define us. Zeno's philosophy, Stoicism, centers around the idea that we don't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. It teaches us to embrace adversity, to find peace within ourselves regardless of our external circumstances. This is the core of Stoic resilience, the ability to remain calm and composed, to find wisdom in hardship, and to use every setback as a stepping stone towards growth and understanding. Zeno's life is a testament to the power of Stoic resilience. Despite losing everything he had, he didn't lose himself. Instead, he found a new purpose, a new identity. He transformed his little dark age into a period of enlightenment, a journey towards wisdom and resilience. From the ashes of his old life, Zeno created something new and profound. That's Stoic resilience. So how does one embrace the shadows during a little dark age? The core Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what we cannot control and focus on what we can. It's about recognizing that while we may not have the power to alter certain circumstances, we do have control over our reactions to them. This is where the concept of embracing the shadows comes into play. Imagine you're in a room filled with shadows. You can't control the shadows. They're there because of factors beyond your control. The position of the light, the objects in the room. But what you can control is your perception of them. You can see them as menacing figures, or you can see them as simple, harmless results of light and dark interplay. This difference in perception is at the heart of Stoic resilience. It's not about denying the existence of these shadows, these challenges. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and then reframing our perspective to see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. It's about transforming adversity into a learning experience. Consider a tree in a storm. The wind blows hardest at the top, bending and twisting the branches in all directions. The tree cannot control the storm, nor can it stop the wind, but it can control how it responds to these forces. It bends, but it does not break. It uses the adversity of the storm to strengthen its roots and grow stronger. This is the essence of Stoic resilience. By reframing our perspective, we can learn to embrace the shadows in our lives. We can accept the things we cannot control, focus on the things we can, and find peace and resilience within ourselves. And remember, there's a profound truth in the Stoic philosophy that remains as relevant today as it was over 2,000 years ago. It's not the events that disturb us, but our interpretation of their significance. But how can we cultivate this resilience, this unwavering fortitude, you may wonder? Well, let's delve into some Stoic practices that can help build this inner fortress. First off, let's talk about negative visualization. It might sound counterproductive, but hear me out. Negative visualization is all about imagining the worst-case scenarios. It's about contemplating on life's uncertainties, the potential losses and misfortunes. By doing so, we foster a sense of gratitude for what we have in the present, and we prepare ourselves to face adversity with a calm mind. It's not about being pessimistic, but rather about developing emotional resilience. Now on to the second practice, voluntary discomfort. As the term suggests, it involves purposely putting oneself in uncomfortable situations. Why, you ask? The Stoics believed that comfort was a form of complacency. By choosing discomfort, we train ourselves to be content with less, and in doing so, we learn to appreciate the simple things in life. This could be as simple as taking a cold shower or skipping a meal. The goal is to become less dependent on external comforts and more resilient to life's inevitable hardships. The third practice is objective judgment. This refers to making impartial assessments of situations, free from personal bias or emotions. The Stoics believed that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our perceptions of them. Thus, by practicing objective judgment, we learn to see things as they truly are, not as we fear or wish them to be. This allows us to stay rational and composed in the face of adversity, strengthening our resilience. These practices, quite like the tools in a toolbox, are there to help us navigate through life's stormy seas. They remind us that we have the power to control our reactions even when we can't control the circumstances. They teach us to embrace the shadows, to see adversity not as a hindrance, but as an opportunity for growth. But remember, like any other skill, resilience is developed through consistent practice and patience. You can't expect immediate results. It's a journey, not a destination. It's about making small changes every day, gradually building up your resilience until it becomes a part of who you are. These practices, when incorporated into daily life, can help us build an inner fortress of resilience. So, let's set sail, shall we? After all, as the Stoics would say, we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. You might wonder, how does Stoic resilience fit into our modern world? Let's take a moment to consider our current global landscape. We're living in an era of rapid technological advancement, information overload, and a constant bombardment of stimuli. These circumstances have led to an increase in stress, anxiety, and a sense of feeling overwhelmed. In the midst of this whirlwind, the teachings of Stoicism offer a beacon of calm. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. By doing this, we can navigate through life's challenges with a clear mind and a steady heart. Stoic resilience is not about being unaffected by adversity. Rather, it's about facing it head-on, acknowledging the discomfort, and choosing to persevere. It's about understanding that suffering is a part of life, but how we respond to it is within our control. Take, for example, the concept of setbacks. In our modern world, we often view setbacks as failures. However, Stoicism encourages us to see them as opportunities for growth. It teaches us to embrace the struggle, learn from it, and come out stronger on the other side. Stress and anxiety are other common issues in today's society. Again, Stoicism provides a way to cope. It reminds us to stay present, to not worry about the future or dwell on the past. It teaches us to accept things as they are, and not as we wish them to be. This acceptance brings peace and reduces anxiety. In a world where we're constantly striving for more, Stoicism encourages contentment. It challenges the notion that happiness is found in external possessions or achievements. Instead, it promotes the idea that true happiness comes from within, from living a virtuous life. So you see, Stoic resilience has a significant role in our modern world. It offers us a way to navigate through the chaos, to find peace in the turmoil, and to build strength in the face of adversity. In the end, it's not about avoiding the shadows, but learning to dance in the dark. So what have we learned today? We've walked the path of Zeno, understanding how an ancient philosophy can still hold relevance in our present-day lives. We've delved into the depths of the shadows, acknowledging that darkness isn't something to fear, but rather an opportunity for growth. We've explored the Stoic practices that foster resilience, helping us to navigate through the challenges of life with grace and fortitude. We've seen how Stoic resilience is not just a concept, but a practical tool for us to wield in this little dark age we find ourselves in. We've recognized that our world may be shrouded in shadows, but that doesn't mean we must surrender to the dark. Instead, we can draw upon our inherent Stoic resilience, using it to illuminate our path forward. Remember, the night is darkest just before the dawn. Embrace the darkness, and you'll find your dawn.